Awesome, Matt. I think we are live.
Yeah, looks like it.
That's that's
We're
that's looking
on
good.
air.
You can actually ask somebody if you can write on chat, if you can hear us loudly and clearly. And we're going to start in a couple of seconds with a webinar hosted for the first time, the Partner Day online. But yeah, there will be more to come. And actually, Matt, we are planning the on-site event as we were discussing for multiple weeks already.
Yeah, so this is not just a webinar, right?
Yeah.
It's a full-on Xplus Partner Day, the first one ever. It should be very, very interesting. But yeah, we were planning initially to do it on site. We wanted to do a nice on-site event in Warsaw to invite our partners and maybe even some customers to talk about our solutions in detail and how they work in real life, what kinds of results they generate, both for customers and partners. But it wasn't meant to be this year to do it on site, so
Sure.
we settled on doing it online. I think this will still be great. The sessions will be, very focused on value, and I'm sure everyone who attends will take something out of it, something valuable from each and every session.
We
Uh,
probably won't also overlap with the events we had because this year was crazy for Vegas, Porto. We've
yeah.
showed a lot, but yeah, I think we have some new stuff for our guests.
Oh yeah, for sure. The amount of events, like just in May, it was way too much. But this year in general, I think we've been to a record number of events, right? This Mavim event in Amsterdam. We had this Credo event for XF in Warsaw. We had the Microsoft AI tour in Brussels. We had the roundtable from Microsoft in Warsaw. We had the companion events in Copenhagen, in
Yeah,
Bucharest,
Bucharest. Yeah, true.
the CR event in London, and then the DynamicsCon in Vegas. That was a fun event, wasn't it?
And also Porto and this multiple other on-site visits with partners. Yeah, this I believe this is the moment where Lufthansa and all the Star Alliance flights, the Star Alliance companies, they should send us some flowers for spending so much cash on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should, shouldn't they, huh? They
Yeah,
should be treating us better for being such frequent flyers. But
true,
yeah,
true.
it's been crazy between these events and visiting partners, customers. It's difficult to actually find the time, to catch up on things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, excited. That'll be great event. And as Matt is mentioning, we are co-hosting here today with multiple people on board. There will be Matt hosting the session. There will be Pavel Bunchkovsky who will run the data mining and process mining functionalities. So we're gonna have Pavel Wozniak. So everybody who is actually very visible on the YouTube channels and on-site session with partners and customers. You will see us all today. We brought the A team to show you everything we've came up through last years and guide you through how to collaborate with Xplus, become our partner, how to make revenue streams because this is the goal, yeah, Matt? We want to bring business and we want to grow together with partners.
Exactly, that's the way to go. When we bring value to the customers together, these customers are happy. You, as our partners, are happy, and we are happy. So, when everyone is happy, that means we're doing something right together. But Bart, what a journey it has been, right? These past, I don't know, 8 or more years, from being a market leader in AX 2009 and AX 2012 for automated testing to
Yeah.
becoming the number one paid solution for F&O for automated testing, to having our security setup solution, well, first developing it to solve security issues for customers, then selling it to Microsoft so that now everyone can take part and solve their custom security roles with user security governance, to now this exciting new observability solution, the first one ever for
Yeah.
F&O. Was
Yeah,
it
I think
was it easy?
I think that's a roller coaster. That describes the way you think you know everything about the market and the partners and the value proposition, but then competition. Microsoft releases our set for free, and we've been kind of questioning what do we do? We have a paid product, and how to collaborate, and we won, as you mentioned. And overall, I think the best value we can extract from all those years is that I think we have very good nose, very good feeling what products to build, and how to build them, what kind of functionalities, how to collaborate with market, how to collaborate with Microsoft and partners to bring significant value. And I think this experience we are sharing together with the team, because it's a fact that we also internally are very stable. We have a little churn on the team. Everybody with high knowledge stays, and that actually gives us that feeling of the market to know where to position next step. So I think that 8 years, it's a stability. It's a roller coaster, but it's stability and the big pleasure that we can actually bring some game changers to the market, as you were mentioning, security, an example. Okay.
Yeah. And now there's also a very exciting opportunity with Microsoft deprecating RSAT.
Sure.
I'll talk a little bit more about this during my session, but I think everyone is thinking, like, what now? Microsoft
Yeah,
deprecating
exactly.
RSAT. Many customers use it to some point. Some use it very little. Some use it more. In my opinion, RSAT is not really a viable solution for bigger projects. If you have more than 100 test scripts, it gets very difficult to manage that in RSAT. But smaller projects having 50 test scripts in RSAT, that's perfectly fine. And many customers who are doing that now will start looking into some other solutions. And we are targeting this moment. We are thinking strategically about how to make it work so that we can go with our light version, which is a free version of the solution, which we already shipped before Microsoft announced this
True.
this RSAT deprecation. But we want to make this solution a tool that anyone can use, that is free, and that brings a whole lot better experience than RSAT ever brought. But yeah, it's just about us figuring out this freemium premium model, how to make this work. And we've already received a lot of very, very useful feedback from many of our partners on how to shape this this version. Again, the version 1 is already available on App Source, but we're now thinking about how to improve it, how to make the version 2 the standard go-to solution for anyone needing help with test automation in F&O. And of course, there will be just some limitation on how much you test. If you get really serious about testing and you start testing a lot and very frequently, sooner or later you will need to upgrade from this free version to a premium version, to a paid version. But yeah, customers who will continue to test small will be able to use the free version pretty much forever.
True, true. Yeah, that's a point. And we've encountered value of kind of the estimate that there are close to 3,000 customers across the globe with RSAT being somehow active. So that'll be interesting how this conversion will go on. And yeah, today over multiple sessions, you will see details of that. And I think I will just carry on to the agenda with
Let's take a look what we have for this first one ever Xplus Partner Day.
exactly. So we are starting with welcome. We will walk you through the observability as the foundation for your future. That will be hosted by me. I'll give you some good understanding of what this product does and how to perceive that for your dynamic finance and operations environments.
Just
And
maybe to say a few words about Bart, if you don't know him yet. Bart is our VP of products. He's the man behind all our major solutions. He's been critical in our success, and I'm always amazed by the insights he brings to the table, and also just the sheer breadth of his knowledge. And in this session, Bart, I believe you'll take everyone through the product that's been getting a lot of attention lately,
Yeah.
Discovery. And you talk about the values that observability brings for F&O customers.
Exactly. Yes. So that will be summarized in a glimpse. Naturally, this application has a massive. This is going to be a foundation for an entire day, because the observability at the end of everything, how we're going to perceive that, builds value for auditing, for testing, from process mining, for performance testing, and so forth. So that will be something which combines all of that. And if you're going to take a look on the first session, you're going to have. That would be a nice starter for the other topics. We're going to have process mining hosted by Paweł Bączkowski. We're going to have test automation by you, Matt, our head of product, head of the partnerships. Thank you so much, Matt, for kind words. Always great to co-host
My pleasure.
and co-hike the world. Yeah, we do a lot of traveling together with Matt to partners and customers, so we are able to brainstorm a lot how to build good products in our ecosystem. And lastly, we will have Paweł Woźniak on the complete vision of performance of your D365 FSCM and BC test automation live. So that will be a complete day with us today, and I bet you won't get bored. I bet that you're gonna see here today multiple great values. And yeah, let us know, what do you think about that. We're gonna redo those webinars and feel more than invited for on-site events we're gonna host soon.
Yeah, we'll start also each session with a quick survey just to get a better understanding of the audience and also better tailored this experience for you. So please participate in those surveys. Also, for each session, just write your questions, comments in the chat. There will always be at least a few minutes, hopefully, for each session to address your questions at the end. And there will also be a 15-minute break between each of the sessions. Of course, it may be a little longer or a little shorter, depending on how the session actually ends. But there should be at least some break for each. And again, we'll start all of these sessions with the quick survey. So please take part in that. And I think with that, Bart, I'll just leave you to your first session.
I have one more point. See
Uh-huh.
that we are actually visiting the BizApps Summit in Seattle next
Yeah.
month. I think it will be also a good moment to invite people for, I think, first ever comparison of test automation tools, applications on the scene. So that will be very interesting discussion done and hosted by Dynamics communities in Seattle. We've been invited to compare all the current test automation solutions available on the market, targeting finance and operations. And on the scene, we'll be able to answer questions how we perceive our test automation in agentific era. So that will be interesting. I'm super excited. And I love where we stand, Matt, now. With the power from the observability, we are giving to the market such a unique combination of functionalities, a platform which is uncomparable. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. So feel invited for that. And we have the event in October. That'll be the
Yeah, the Dynamics Con Europe, I believe this is what you mean, the one happening in Frankfurt. Or also there's the Summit NA in October, I think in Nashville this year.
yes.
So yeah, the next three events we're talking about, we're thinking about, what we're going to, are going to be this BizApp Summit in at the end of July. Be sure to let us know if you're coming. Again, we'll have this really nice session on comparing the different test automation solutions. Bart is gonna destroy the competition, I believe. And then there's going to be the Dynamics Con in Europe, in Frankfurt in October, and then Community Summit in Nashville in the US also in October.
Exactly, and that'll be a great occasion if the content you're going to see today over today's agenda will interest you. On site, we are organizing some more one-to-one demos with partners. We discuss everything in detail. We want to propose a safe approach on scalability and building you services that will actually bring you massive value for your end customers and yeah, build new revenue streams. So all of that in a glimpse today, but on site we can go to details and navigate how to embed all the applications you're going to see today. And I think, yeah, with that being said, I will jump into the observability. Thank you so much, Matt, for co-hosting the welcome with me. And look forward for your part soon. And yeah, let's
Thanks so
jump
much, Bart.
in
Uh,
observability.
Everyone, please enjoy the session by Bart.
Thank
See you
you
later.
for your dynamic finance and operations environments.
Just
And
maybe to say a few words about Bart, if you don't know him yet. Bart is our VP of products. He's the man behind all our major solutions. He's been critical in our success, and I'm always amazed by the insights he brings to the table, and also just a sheer breadth of his knowledge. And in this session, Bart, I believe you'll take everyone through the product that's been getting a lot of attention lately,
yeah,
Discovery, and you talk about the values that observability brings for F&O customers.
exactly. Yes. So that will be summarized in a glimpse. Naturally, this application has a massive. This is going to be a foundation for entire day, because the observability at the end of everything, how we're going to perceive that, builds value for auditing, for testing, from process mining, for performance testing, and so forth. So that will be something which combines all of that. And if you're going to take a look on the first session, you're going to have. That would be a nice starter for the other topics. We're going to have process mining hosted by Paweł Bączkowski. We're going to have test automation by you, Matt, our head of product, head of the partnerships. Thank you so much, Matt, for kind words. Always great to co-host
My pleasure.
and co-hike the world. Yeah, we do a lot of traveling together with Matt, partners and customers, so we are able to brainstorm a lot how to build good products in our ecosystem. And lastly, we will have Paweł Woźniak on the complete vision of performance of your D365 FSCM and BC test automation live. So that will be a complete day with us today, and I bet you won't get bored. I bet that you're gonna see here today multiple great values. And yeah, let us know what do you think about that. We're gonna redo those webinars and few more than invited for on-site events we're gonna host soon.
Yeah, we'll start also each session with a quick survey just to get a better understanding of the audience and also better tailored this experience for you. So please participate in those surveys. Also, for each session, just write your questions, comments in the chat. There will always be at least a few minutes, hopefully, for each session to address your questions at the end. And there will also be a 15-minute break between each of the sessions. Of course, it may be a little longer or a little shorter, depending on how the session actually ends. But there should be at least some break for each. And again, we'll start all of these sessions with the quick survey. So please take part in that. And I think with that, Bart, I'll just leave you to your first session.
I have one more point. See
Uh-huh.
that we are actually visiting the BizApps Summit in Seattle next
Yeah.
month. I think it will be also a good moment to invite people for, I think, first ever comparison of test automation tools, applications on the scene. So that will be very interesting discussion done and hosted by Dynamics communities in Seattle. We've been invited to compare all the current test automation solutions available on the market, targeting finance and operations. And on the scene, we'll be able to answer questions how we perceive our test automation in agentific era. So that will be interesting. I'm super excited. And I love where we stand, Matt, now. With the power from the observability, we are giving to the market such a unique combination of functionalities, a platform which is uncomparable. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. So feel invited for that. And we have the event in October. That'll be the
Yeah, the Dynamics Con Europe, I believe this is what you mean, the one happening in Frankfurt. Or also there's the Summit NA in October, I think in Nashville this year.
yes.
So yeah, the next three events we're talking about, we're thinking about what we're going to, are going to be this BZAP Summit in at the end of July. Be sure to let us know if you're coming. Again, we'll have this really nice session on comparing the different test automation solutions. Bart is gonna destroy the competition, I believe. And then there's going to be the Dynamics Con in Europe, in Frankfurt in October, and then Community Summit in Nashville in the US also in October.
Exactly, and that'll be a great occasion if the content you're going to see today over today's agenda will interest you. On site, we are organizing some more one-to-one demos with partners. We discuss everything in detail. We want to propose a safe approach on scalability and building you services that will actually bring you a massive value for your end customers and yeah, build new revenue streams. So all of that in a glimpse today, but on site we can go to details and navigate how to embed all the applications you're going to see today. And I think, yeah, with that being said, I will jump into the observability. Thank you so much, Matt, for co-hosting the welcome with me, and look forward for your part soon. And yeah, let's
Thanks so
jump
much, Bart.
in
Uh,
observability.
Everyone, please enjoy the session by Bart.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
All right, so as you can see in here, the title, as Matt introduced me, my name is Bart. I'm Vice President of Products. For last 10 years, I'm in Xplus building test automation application, but also I've accomplished one acquisition by Microsoft with our security application. Plus, we've built lately observability. So this is the third product in different niche of Dynamics Finance and Operations, which brings value to you. And today, and I think having in mind what I've said in a quick glimpse, observability is the biggest revolution. And this application is live for all on over on 30 instances of Dynamics Finance and Operations, which makes a massive change how users are working in D365. I will run a quick quiz for you now. So if you can just jump into the quiz with me. So there are going to be a few questions to interact, which will give us some market insights, which will give massive feedback for us how to build new partner days, how to help customers, and how well we are designed to the product niches and product gaps. So I will give you guys a few moments to register. Please scan QR code on the site and feel free to answer the questions. If I will see all responses, I will just carry on to the next questions, and we're gonna then summarize these a bit later on. It is fun. We use a lot of polls and a lot of research with customers just to understand where are the troubles on the market, what needs to be addressed. And so far, since 2019, I think we've done over 600 customer and partner visits across the globe, which is fun because that gives us a great feeling of the market. Yeah, so the first question is how often does a client report an issue that was already visible in the system log long before anyone noticed it? So we have first responses. Let's give a few more minutes to people to answer. Have the same answers sometimes. Um, we are addressing with most of the products we are actually addressing the core trouble which we see on the enterprise market, which is stability and performance of Dynamics itself, where you have plenty of components, including Dynamics Finance and Operations in C. Also, users only reportation will be a showstopper. Fully agree. Yeah. these are not users are not QA very often, and they will just notify you when they're gonna get when they're gonna hit the roadblock. Um, let me uh, let me wait for frequently. Okay, I'll carry on just to mind the time that we have. So if somebody wants to respond, I'll try to see if we are able to. Yeah, that's going to reset. So there is a second question. Do you currently have a tool that shows you in real time what is happening inside your client system? And yep, sadly no. That is um, that is a gap we've identified. Actually, when Microsoft moved on to from AX 2012, from Exapta to Finance and Operations, and Azure Portal was a little bit rebuilt. LCS goes to retirement. Now we are, yeah, desperately needing more insights of how the application are working, and I think you're going to be interested in performance monitoring, which is the application which Pavel will overview today, which gives you very deep insights on how your finance and operation works from hardware to the SQL, number of AOSs, how the environment is scaled over time, SQL, long queries, KPI metrics, which are custom. That'll be interesting. And yeah, I also feel excited to see because there's going to be new content available. And the last but not least, so we have some statistics out of this, and I think everything what you've answered precisely will be addressed by these sessions because um, you need to have a data about your environment to make wise decisions, to make business changes, to make some ISV introductions. These elements we will definitely help you. I'm going to walk you through some documentation versus real business processes, observability architecture, the foundation for proper testing coverage, and naturally we're going to go through the demo itself. Um, One of the biggest trouble we've encountered is that the knowledge about the business processes is embedded in documentations. But very often these documentations are remaining the old relic from implementation, always deactualized. You have a lot of gaps in them. They are very inaccessible by the users. So simply saying the documentation itself is outdated. In reality, business processes are more hectic. They are a decision tree. They are never a linear process. So documentation never describes well how the business is behaving in D365 FNL. And this is why major of the testing projects are failing because they don't have availability of the business. And we wanted to build an application to solve that. And I think we've solved it out pretty in very interesting way. We have the first in Dynamics observability application, which allows you to listen and observe every singular user active in Dynamics and focus on their every click, type, and decision they do, which brings us the capacity to do much more because we are able to unpack on production, FAT, UAT, you can observe multiple layers, multiple machines. So simply saying you deploy an agent to your production system. And from that moment, every user which logs in through the browser, their clicks and types are registered, and all the data is going straight to Azure Cloud on your tenant. From the partner perspective, you can imagine that you can actually deploy to every D365 maintenance services, the managed services you offer, to every customer can deploy that. They can build on their tenant where Dynamics stays. They can add a new resource group where all the data will be stored. And then based on that, they can build new alerting, they can build access rights, so new security roles based on the human behavior. They can have complete audit trail of the user actions. So all of that, what you're seeing here, we're going to demo today, but it's an essential element that we are able to provide you clicks and types from every user And right now, the biggest headcount of the users we are observing on one singular instance of Dynamics is close to 6,000 users, which provides us a confirmance that we are able to survive heavy load and we are able to provide you data without users noticing, without impacting the performance. We are performance neutral. So simply saying, we are able to unpack all clicks, form inputs, navigation, workflow, data change, observability from complete user actions. That is streamed straight to the AI engine, which analyzes the human behavior. We are able to run our AI, which does validate and map your behavior versus business process catalog. So we use business process catalog to understand what the users are performing in the application to let you know where you spend the most of the time, where you have the biggest cost on the application, where to place agents. And actually, this foundation is the best possible way how you're going to navigate from the digital era through implementing of finance and operations towards autonomy. So jump into that journey because I think that will help you to position where to place agents, where they are effective, what kind of ISVs you can implement. So as a partner, that's a massive capability to bring revenue and actually great quality to the end users. Um, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about test automation and observability as this combination is essential because you can actually test with our app very efficiently. You will see that today over mass presentation. But as mentioned, the observability is the best possible rocket fuel for test automation. Only with observability you can get to the autonomy because in our sense, in our idea, to get autonomous testing, you need to have the limited amount of business users activity in order to perform test automation. And through observability and then unpacking what users are performing in the application, we are able to deliver that. But the autonomy itself has multiple levels, which means that we are able to solve this problem. South Africans, they say you can eat an elephant in the chunks. And I think we've done this in the perfect approach because we are able to uh, unpack from the observability what users are performing. So I can simply tell to the testing, please, let's repeat all the steps, actions done by Emma, who is actually performing today finance process. So I can unpack the user session in order to get testing. Then the level two, which we already released in our test application, has an AI healing mechanism which heals the process. So Emma is performing finance operations, and these finance operations on the test they might not work because of the differences in data. So we are actually able to heal the script on the level two in order to change the data and make it repetitive. So the level two helps you with actual reusability. Then autonomy on level three, and this is something we are soon to release, and functionalities which are helping you to judge by AI a representative patterns, which I'll explain a little bit more over the demo. But business process catalog made our life easier. We are able to name processes done by the users according to the BPC, and that within the pattern recognized, we are able to show what is the way how your users are performing that specific explicit pattern in the business. Naturally, every application has a roadmap, so we have much more ideas to evolve. And what you can expect from us on the longer term will be an end-to-end scenarios based on the patterns, but also we've done crazy stuff. We've been able to reproduce 8 hours of the application after go live, meaning that we've observed the system for 24 hours. We've actually made a backup of the production application at 8 a.m. and we've repeated the 8 hours of user actions from Pratt on the reflection of production system to actually show what production like transactions can work on the test. We've reached close to 25% of the success rate, which means that we've been able to reproduce those 25% of transactions. And actually, we've tested so many edge cases, which were never part of the smoke test or regression test, because they are simply very unique moments of the production machine. So think the outcome of this slide is that this observability is just the baseline. This gives you massive amount of understanding about your environment. And if you invest in that foundation of data, you'll be able to unpack much more. And in the future, you'll benefit from more functionalities focusing on that specific data. What else is in the glimpse? You're actually able to have much more data and set alerts in the application based on specific behavior. So you can actually set an alert when somebody does XYZ and get an email notification, hey, somebody modified parameters from LIFO to FIFO. So you can seal the entire configuration of Dynamics and then get alerted. So we are solving one of the biggest troublemaker, the very frequent changes to the configuration of Dynamics. But else, we are actually able to compare and understand the duration of the users in the application, which means that if somebody is active for 20 minutes versus their session is actually taking 7 hours to complete, we are able to find out some potential savings. We are able to judge where to improve, and if users are spending a lot of time in the application, but they are just they desperately need an upskilling session to make sure that they use the system in the most effective way, we are able to propose and make it happen based on the real data. You may know that we've actually built and delivered to the Microsoft security application, and through that and the whole journey of building security access rights gave us a great insights how the application of finance and operations is built. And not only this, because we've been able to extend the standard user security governance functionalities, and right now we are providing a very unique approach on how you can solve the licensing trouble. We are able to observe the users, as you can see here, and based on the observability, we can show how many specific entry points are used by specific account, which means that we can actually show you where you have savings. And there are multiple accounts which are having very extensive user access rights, but in the reality, they use just 2 entry points instead of 1600 they have allocated. So we've been able to accomplish, I think, over 20 projects focus on that specifically. And if you're going to be interested in that specific part, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the summary is that you can have a continuous exercise of improving how much specific licenses you need for end customer, and incrementally, decrease that sprint by sprint over the year cycle to make sure that license validation will be effective. And I'll walk you through the error and insights. We don't have only access to clicks and types. We also have information about the error messages and warnings in the application. So that is also effective because I can actually unpack and make some KPIs based on the system stability. And without further ado on the slides, I will jump into the presentation of ours. This is the application that we use for that. I'm going to log in with our Entra ID. So this is the resource group you're connecting to. This is the place where all the actions going to be visible. So I can sign in into the observability. On the cockpit, you're going to see here all active users, the most active forms, last activities counts, and so forth. So as you can see, I can see where the users are spending the most of the time. On our application, it is Ledger Journal Trans Daily. And you're actually able to position and understand where you have to focus. And if your Dynamics application is heavily modified and you are wondering how many of those forms are actually used, you are able to answer those questions to keep your application live. The most important aspect is here in the events. You have the foundation of all user actions, and this foundation can be seen through user session, so complete session of a user who went to the application itself and conducted some transactions. So I can see here test application of ours, so UAT, by test account 2. Session was taking 6 minutes. We have multiple events. This was done today. Double click inside, and I can see clearly all actions done by this account. Selecting vendor, typing value to the invoice, selecting some other fields. All the actions step by step is listed here. If you have a legal requirements or compliance requirements to provide a complete audit trail of actions, this is the way to go. You are able to go to the process, find out who did what on a date with a full transparency. But not only that, you are able to see even the scope of what they've seen on the form when they were browsing. So you have a complete vision throughout the application based on the user sessions. And actually, the data retention here is massive. You are able to have over 12 months of the data retention with keeping the costs on very accessible values. Our customers mostly they pay 600 euros monthly per environment to store this amount of data. Naturally, it depends on user count, but we talk about a few hundreds of users plus close to 1,000. So that will be the hosting costs from the application perspective, which is nothing if you compare that to database login example, which I think in Dynamics Minds, Andrea Cavallon mentioned great exercise, an example of customer which was paying 11,000 of euros per month for database logging. So it's simply uncomparable. And what you see, those all actions, they are all then going through the AI, and we are making reasoning on that. I will show you this in a couple of seconds, but let's see the second vision, activities. In here on the activities, I have unpacked all actions by every account on our applications. What I can do with it, I can then be asked by compliance team, hey, there was a sales order or a customer fraud that was a US 014 customer. And I need to find out who was modifying their credit limit. And I can find out who touched that customer this day or any day in the past. I can go in and can see there are multiple actions showed, and there's actually one person modifying credit limit. That was actually me today, 3 hours ago, to perform that pro case for you. But I can go through that to that specific session and I can see step by step how this person went through all customer, selecting customers, defining credit limit, changing some collection, exclude interest rates. That might be super big fraud. And then recalculation of the credit limit as well. So I can make a great insight for auditors. And yeah, we are collaborating with enterprise level customers. And to be honest, this application is a great feature for auditing teams because they can go here and they can build on a glimpse reports which will summarize their user actions and then defend for SOX compliance or any other regulations coming from regulatory markets. So this is the baseline. In auditing, there is a bit more called errors. And errors are summarizing how many different error messages are happening on the environment. Operation completed? That's simple. You can dive into details. I can see warning. Target format contains one of the other element, which actually is more interesting. And I can go inside to that session to find out how this actually was created. So I can see step by step how the user was working, defining a new on formats destination table, and I see the warning message. So I can find out how this is the playbook, how to repeat the same trouble. And if there will be a high head count, a high count of warnings happening, like on the 6th, on the 10th of June, we had 4,000 warnings. I can actually pick up the phone and call our delivery manager. Hey, there is some big instability in the application lately. Let's see what is happening. So you are able to build very intense number of KPIs, which will define what is the stability, what means the stability for your application from the errors perspective, for warning perspective, and much more. So that is a very unique way how you can collaborate with your end customers. So imagine as a partner, you can actually observe every customer and build a baseline of the stability. As a partner, you can be proactive instead of being reactive when people are calling you, something is not working, and actually pick up the phone and call them, hey, you are facing multiple warning messages and error messages. What is happening? So change from being reactive to proactive with observability. This can be scoped. You can search for specific actions. You can search for operation denied, like access denied stuff. If you are building new access rights and you are thinking if users are having enough access rights or somebody is actually trying to access some place where they shouldn't and they get that result, that is something you can get a value from. Naturally, based on the data, you can do much more. I was mentioning alerts, and alerts can be very useful. You can make a rule to see all accounts payable parameters, receivable parameters, all production control. If somebody does change something like this, I want to activate that and get email. So we are providing some rules out of the box, but naturally you can build your rules as well. If somebody modifies exchange rate, go there. And I mean, you get email, you can go there and validate, hey, why you changed that? So this is another level of being proactive. And don't compare that with standard functionality with alerts of the system because they are set on the table level. Here, you can actually set an alert on the form level and on the field on the form, like parameters, and it's impossible to get the same level of details in the standard. Naturally, there are much more reports which are summarizing the way how the application can unpack the users which were active and much more from the app perspective. But I think you might be interested in the security. So let's go here. I can take the last 7 days from a specific account. So let's take my account, last 7 days, I can show all entry points. So I've used last 7 days, 11 entry points. So you can actually go to any of your business users working in Dynamics and you can unpack the 7 days, that's 30 days or even more entry points. And we have all details of what type of entry points, how they use that, read, update, create, delete. So we are able to unpack what is the real usage of licenses versus you can compare that to number of entry points coming from the standard roles. So you can have an ongoing service for your customers, which will improve their the quality of a user interface because less entry points you have, it's more natural, it's more slick, the system is more useful, user friendly, and also the prices are dropping. So naturally, sometimes you won't be able to optimize finance team, but it will be able to optimize some very frequent job titles like warehouse operations, production controls, quality control, so forth. So you can make that exercise and even more, you can actually find the same users. So users which are doing very similar job titles or job tasks day by day and group them and build roles per group. So we have some mechanism to even optimize that or propose you some optimization, which will bring to the end customer game changer from the license cost. So with that being said, let's go to part which highlights a little bit what you're going to see in a couple of moments on presentation from Paweł Bączkowski. Here, this is the list of patterns executed on our system, which means, or in other words, we observe every user in the application. We are unpacking their steps, types, decision made. We are reasoning through our AI where or how to name those executions, those sessions. And then when we name, we are able to tell based on the business process catalog, you've done 401 purchase order returns. There are 20 of different variants, and this was done mostly by 2 users. Total duration is 6 hours. So I can see where the users are spending the most of the time. I can go inside to see how that process is described by AI, how this process is done, and how many steps. So there are 30 steps, 40 steps, 14, 15. So there are different ways how users are performing that entire application and how simply understand if they are wasting time, selecting warehouse, clicking delivery. So Pavel will talk about that a bit more detail, but since you have observability of user actions, you can compare that to the way how you've designed the system. So you can perform very in detail conformance check of how you've designed versus how you want the users to perform their actions. And this will be a game changer for future because if you are implementing Dynamics and you're planning new rollouts, you're planning much more, it is better to have these details to make sure that your scaling mechanism, which is optimized to your application, to your organization. All of those information of how to perform create returns, how to perform other application processes are also listed here. So I can take last 3 months of data and I can see where in which catalog people are spending the most of the time. So that would be the essence where to place agents, the essence where to hire more people or where to do upskilling session. If these numbers are inaccurate, that people are spending the most of the time, but they shouldn't. It should be simple process for them. So I can take this, I can then actually load that pattern into the test automation application, which jumps straight to the autonomy of testing. And that's one of the another element, another feature from our platform. Um, so you've probably noticed here a button automated testing. This opens up our test automation application, which is visible here on the site. And this is that revolution because we've been for years application for testing, period. Now, since the observability is here, we are actually building a platform of functionalities that are allowing us or you to solve multiple troubles. All the user sessions now can be overviewed here on the testing by Xplus, and you can import ready processes done by the users to the test automation. This test automation application will be showed by Matt today in more details from the partnership perspective. So stay tuned for more. But what I'm showing you here is access to the our dev machine where I can actually go to the sessions and I can go find out, hey, I want to see, because I know that my user was performing today, so specific operations or test machine, and I can actually load my actions to the Dynamics itself instead of recording them. So you don't spend any more time for recording test cases. You can load them and optimize them either manually by you or by AI, which will solve some troubles in the background. So I can refresh, I can see my session is loaded, and I can see all the actions I was performing, including sales creation, including selecting account, and so forth. So this can be now played back in foreground, in background. And again, I don't need to spend time with business. And that is the key aspect. You can observe the users from business to optimize their work, to find inefficiencies, to find some license optimization, to propose testing, to propose what you don't test. Because simply saying, if you're going to unpack all the test cases and you're going to compare the areas from the test cases versus the real user behavior in finance and operations, you can find the gaps. So you can unpack where I need the test cases because users are going there and my test cases are not covering that. So that's another revolution, a testing report or a coverage report, which is impossible to get without deep insights of observability. As mentioned, I will maybe make a post here on the test application if you will see or want to hear more about the testing application itself. As mentioned in the agenda, there will be Matt talking about that on finance and operations stuff and CE stuff, and also there will be Pavel covering business central element of this equation. I'll jump back to the discovery once again to summarize a little bit what you can do more here. There are much more functionalities focused on reporting. There will be soon an MCP server which will do even more integrations outside. And I think it's nice to mention that all the functionalities we've seen today, all the application for testing, for observability, we are keeping them light from understanding. I mean by this, you can learn that within hours, within 2, 3 hours, you can learn all of the functionalities we have to use them in your day-by-day business. Partners can deploy that in days. I mean, we shake hands, we have formal collaboration, and you can deploy that to your customers within one day if you have all access to Azure. The next day, you have complete vision of user actions, not only from finance and operations, but also WMS mobile devices. And we have much more ideas how to go beyond F&O, but that will be something which will come in the future. Test automation application, the deployment is 15 minutes and learning the application. So the training session takes 1.5 hours. And within one complete business day, you can learn how to do testing. You can build at least 5 test cases and you can plan them to run them after hours. With that being said, I will jump back to the presentation itself to take a look also in the chat if there are any questions from this part. So if there are, just feel free to write them down on the chat. And in a couple of moments, there will be Pavel joining me. There will be naturally a break between the sessions just to make sure that he'll be able to catch up with some other responsibilities. But so we have one question regarding API calls outside of the system to D365 F&O.